Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Dennis Adegunloye. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has assured the public of adequate supply of petroleum products in the country within the acceptable national sufficiency threshold this peak demand period. A statement by George Eneta, Director of the Public Affairs Department, says there is robust domestic supply of petroleum products, including diesel, petrol, and liquefied petroleum gas sourced from both local refineries and importation to ensure timely replenishment of stocks at storage depots and retail stations during and after festive peak periods. The authority therefore cautions against hoarding, panic buying, or non-market reflective escalation of prices of petroleum products. The statement adds that the implementation of the 15% ad valorem import duty on imported petrol and diesel is no longer in view, and that it will continue to closely monitor the supply situation and take appropriate regulatory measures. The Senate is in the process of repealing and reenacting the Nigeria Armed Forces Act, part of which makes provision to prohibit enlistment of persons below 18 years in the military. This is in alignment with the Child Rights Act and international humanitarian standards. Other proposals in the bill seek extension of protection and rights to non-commissioned officers to boost morale and fairness. The bill, sponsored by Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua, also seeks to reinforce the President's constitutional authority as Commander-in-Chief and vest the day-to-day operational command in the Chief of Defense Staff. When passed and assented to, qualified military lawyers will be able to represent the armed forces in civil courts.
The armed forces of Nigeria remain the cornerstone of our sovereignty and national security. They have stood gallantly in defense of our nation, from combating insurgency and terrorism to peacekeeping across Africa. However, the existing Armed Forces Act, rooted in a 1960s military decree and last consolidated in 2004, no longer meets today's realities.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has passed a resolution urging the Federal Ministry of Education and the West African Examination Council to suspend the commencement of its computer-based examination in 2026, citing inadequate facilities and preparation. Adopting a motion of urgent national importance by Representative Kelechi Nwogu, the House notes that the technical glitches that led to the shutting down of WAEC's 2025 results portal are indications that time is not ripe for commencement of the computer-based examination policy.
It is wrong to start this policy now without adequate preparation, suggesting that the Federal Ministry of Education and Examination Body should have at least 3 years projection to commence the policy by 2029-2030 academic year. Concerned that the outcome of the WAEC result of students who are considered to be leaders of tomorrow using CBE will be devastating if allowed to commence.
This motion is referred to the Committees on Basic Education, Digital and Information Technology, Basic Examination Bodies, Labor, Employment and Productivity for further legislative action.
Lawmakers also condemned poor sanitary conditions in some parts of the nation's capital, while also highlighting security threats posed by non-functional streetlights in Abuja and environs.
Blockage of drainages and sewage systems and the pervasive darkness from dysfunctional street lights in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja.
Especially during rainy season. If you see the kind of hold-up caused by blockages of drainages in Abuja, you will be shocked.
Go to Gorimpa and see the filth. They have taken over the streets. The cleaners that are going around the city doing some manual cleaning, they are off the streets.
I think the starting point is to acknowledge and commend efforts that are being made and then make additional recommendations or suggestions on how to improve on what is on ground.
An ad hoc committee was constituted to look into waste management as well as dysfunctional streetlights in the nation's capital and to make recommendations for legislative and executive action. Now, the federal government wants stakeholders in the advertising industry to sustain efforts in building Nigeria as a brand of prosperity and not a land of crisis. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, at the 5th National Advertising Conference in Abuja, said engagements with the international community, including the United States, is working on addressing current challenges misbranding Nigeria. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Since 2019, this annual platform by the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria has been equipping stakeholders with necessary information needed to address challenges, discuss trends, and set targets. Stakeholders at the 5th edition with the theme Marketing Communication Transforming Businesses and Creating Growth in Challenging Times are united in their desire to sustain the culture of innovative ways of building reputable brands.
This conference is our own industry convergence to unlearn and relearn better ways of getting out of the very best results in our various business.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation believes participants as custodians of national perception and image should focus on building brands that will project unity and fight falsehood.
When false narratives about Nigeria are spread, especially internationally and also intentionally, it is your creativity, your strategy, and your storytelling that can counterbalance them with truth, with context, and compelling narratives of hope and progress. We need a communication renaissance, one that emphasizes fact over fear, unity over division, and truth over propaganda. We must project Nigeria as it is, a diverse, dynamic, and resilient nation of hard-working people who coexist peacefully, aspire collectively, and strive daily to build a better society.
He emphasized that Nigeria is not a violator of religious freedom.
Let me state clearly and emphatically that this narrative is false. It is a distortion of our reality as a nation of diverse peoples and faith who have lived together peacefully for generations.
Advertisers, media owners, and independent producers are under the same roof created by the regulator in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Austria and Nigeria are set to deepen media relations to collaboratively tackle the challenge of fake news and misinformation within the global media landscape. This is the outcome of an engagement between the Director General of the Voice of Nigeria, Jibrin Babandache, and the Austrian ambassador to Nigeria and 6 other African countries, Peter Guschelbauer, in Abuja. Chukunonso Nwabweze reports.
As fake news continues to pose serious challenge to informed citizenship and public trust in the media, the Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Von Jibril Babandache, and his team are here at the Austrian Embassy in Abuja to seek collaboration with the embassy and the country's public media outfits in combating false or misleading informations presented as authentic news.
To work with you in the fight against misinformation, disinformation, and even outright lies through partnership with similar media, and also seek support in terms of capacity building for our colleagues in areas of AI and other new technology.
We're keen to work together to tackle these sources of disinformation. Media has to play a very important role here in order to make sure that the citizens of our democracies are well informed and have an objective view about what is happening in the world.
The media collaboration is expected to provide a pivotal opportunity for the two nations to leverage their respective strengths towards addressing the scourge of fake news and disinformation, a major global threat to democracy and stability. Chukunonso Nwabweze, NTA News.
Some party politics now. The governing All Progressives Congress has been engaging with its party chairman in the 36 states preparatory to the takeoff of the e-registration exercise for members nationwide. In a strategic session designed for Train the Trainers, the National Organizing Secretary said the party cannot afford to be left behind in terms of digital capturing of its members ahead of the 2027 polls. The session also tasked chairman to take charge of the process of expanding frontiers for increasing membership and promoting the party's ideals nationwide for all elections successes.
E-membership registration program is one of the most transformative reforms in the history of our party. It aims in creating credible, transparent database of APC members, eliminate duplications, and enhance accountability in the party management.
As leaders of the party in our respective states, your role in the success of this program is pivotal. You are expected to, 1, provide leadership and supervision throughout the e-registration process, ensure that others are properly trained and supported, mobilize existing and prospective members to register digitally.
I want to assure you that we are more than ready. We are prepared because we strongly believe that this is the way to go.
The governing party commended President Bola Tinubu for initiating several reforms that now puts the nation on the path of sustainable progress, improved welfare and stability on all fronts. The Cybersecurity Coordination Center in the Office of the National Security Advisor has taken steps to build cyber resilience of academics' instructions, such as universities, to prevent or curb cyber attacks. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the NSA is concerned that cyber threats are increasingly targeting academic institutions, from infiltrating research databases and manipulating academic results to targeting payment systems. No system is spared. Here again is defense correspondent Ismail Musa with details.
Environment must therefore... Office of the National Security Advisor playing host to members of the academic community. Just one item on the agenda to deliberate on increasing cases of cyber threats to higher institutions of learning. And the Cyber Security Coordination Center chairs this meeting. As we continue to see some of our youth engage in online behavior that are inimical to the image and values of our dear country. These activities not only tarnish our global reputation, but also undermine the credibility of our vibrant, law-abiding, talented young population. Our academic environment must therefore evolve from being digitally connected to being digitally secured.
Building cyber resilience is therefore really not optional. It is in fact the foundation of institutional stability and our national development.
Cyber threats pose risk to universities, exposing sensitive student and staff data, disrupting teaching and administrative systems. Academic integrity also not spared when grading systems or research database are compromised.
These attacks on integrity threaten the credibility of our educational institutions and the merit-based foundation on which our nation's progress depends.
To begin to provide awareness within our institutions is very, very timely.
But there's hope. A unified platform can address this academic enemy head-on. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, has paid an operational familiarization visit to the newly established headquarters, Special Operations Command in Makurdi. Blessing Omeche Ebute has details.
The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, was received by the State Deputy Governor and heads of security formations in Benue State at the flight lane of the Tactical Air Command, Makurdi. The Naval Chief thereafter proceeded to the site of the headquarters Special Operations Command, where he was briefed on the state of work on the site and went on to inspect the progress of work so far. Vice Admiral Abbas reaffirmed the Nigerian Navy's commitment to collaborating with other security agencies and stakeholders in the state to address security challenges.
You can see there are structures coming up, and basically to let me know what is happening with a view to expediting action towards having this place completed and put to use immediately.
Benue State Deputy Governor Sam Ode appreciated the Nigerian Navy for the establishment of a Special Operations Command in the state, as the initiative will secure the state's waterways and promote economic development.
We need to give the armed forces and the paramilitary the needed encouragement and support so that they can tackle the issue of insecurity, not only in Benue but across the country.
The visit of the Chief of Naval Staff to Makurdi will be his first operational visit to any naval base in the country since his appointment. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
The Nigerian Legion has unveiled plans to build a veterans village to provide affordable housing for Nigerian veterans and their dependents. This was at an event at the Legion House, Abuja, marking the first anniversary of Female Military Veterans Association of Nigeria. Ekene Ndulue reports.
The first anniversary of the Female Military Veterans Association of Nigeria, an event that highlights the growing recognition of women who served in uniform. Chairman, Nigerian Legion, and founder of the Female Military Veterans Association, Morenike Henry, commended the female veterans for their resilience and commitment, promising the Legion's dedication to improving welfare of veterans and widows of fallen heroes. Emotions ran high as the chairman unveiled an ambitious plan to build a veterans village, a dedicated community that will offer safe and affordable housing to those who once served in Nigeria's armed forces.
A lot of our veterans, when they retire, most of them don't have a place to go to because we used to stay in the barracks. And this village means by having an estate, something like an estate for a veteran that is affordable for them.
Veterans took turns to commend the initiative and urged their colleagues to stand united in the pursuit of their collective welfare. They also expressed appreciation to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his ongoing support of the armed forces community and voiced optimism that better days lie ahead. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
Now, the incessant collapse of buildings has formed major media headlines in times past and still pose potential risks if allowed to be overwhelmed by unskilled artisans and unprofessional bodies. The wheel of change is about to take shape in the industry as experts in the build-up environments converged on Abuja to chart a new course in the investiture of the 23rd presidents and induction of new fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Building. Tokbe Alabi reports.
Incidents of building collapse in Nigeria have risen to 679, claiming at least 1,639 lives, with over 180 incidents reported between 2002 and 2025, out of which 47 cases occurred across 14 states in 2024, according to reports by the Building Collapse Prevention Guild. The critical role the Nigerian Institute of Building plays in shaping the country's built environment is the crux of conversations at the investiture of the 23rd president and induction of new fellows to address challenges of poor construction practices, affordable housing, and urban planning across the nation.
The regulatory body of the building profession must keep the gate of competence firmly closed against concrete, and the ministry will provide the policy leadership.
The same way the MIE will be important in houses, the digital readiness of a house should be a precursor in 21st century.
Let your tenure be remembered as one that deepened professionalism, strengthened ethics, expanded opportunities, and amplified the voice of builders in national development.
Together, let's keep building the future.
The building code specify the roles of every professionals within the industry, necessary punishments for anyone who deter or anyone who does things that causes problem.
Governor Francis Wifuru, Kazim Adesina and Jalilat Abdul Hamid were among the 38 newly inducted fellows of the institute, and the task ahead is to promote sustainable construction practices and reduce quackery, accounting for 54% of building collapses in Nigeria.
And their job is to carry everybody along and to advance more. So that's what we're expecting, advancing and enhancing the development and the technology in building profession.
We have had a meeting and we are still going to do our own best to improve the production of building in the country, to make building so easy and economical for Nigerians.
The message for all Nigerians is to be wise, build right and engage professional builders while leveraging adaptive technologies for affordable and safe buildings. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
Let's now cross over to our Lagos Network Center. Adiola is our guide. Hello, Adiola.
Yes. Kaduna State Governor Senator Uba Sani has called for constitutional amendment to establish state police forces and police service commissions, emphasizing inclusivity and state-led approach to combating insecurity. He made the call while delivering a paper on the role of state governments in overcoming insecurity in Nigeria at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs NIIA Distinguished Lecture Series. Hingino John Adams reports.
The fight against insecurity is a priority for Nigeria. That is why these stakeholders are gathered to hear and learn from the Kaduna State success story. The Chief Security Officer of the state, Governor Uba Sani, highlighted strategies they have deployed in fighting insecurity, stressing the state government's role as architects of peace, social cohesion, and economic revival.
Security is responsible for everyone. And I think as a state government, like I always say, that the issue of insecurity sometimes has to do with economic issues. So carrying people along, ensuring that with different issues of intelligence gathering and sharing, having a synergy between relevant communities with the security agencies, and ensuring that there's a regular State Security Council meeting.
Experts at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, NIIA, highlighted the role of subnationals and local governments in peaceful cohesion.
Every time we speak the language of national security, many of us look only to the federal government. We have 3 layers of government, but even more subnational communities that exist at even lower levels. All of us must work in harmony.
As Nigeria continues to fight insecurity, these experts are amplifying the need for complementary efforts across government levels in building a formidable national security architecture. In Lagos, Hinginu, John Adams, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Education is committed to revitalizing education through curriculum reform, teachers' professionalism, and digital technology integration. Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Saeed Ahmed, stated this at the 25th Annual General Meeting of Federal Unity Colleges held in Lagos. Bolaji Akim completes the story.
The importance of education in socio-economic development cannot be overemphasized. This is why principals of Federal Unity Colleges across the country gathered in Lagos to take a common stand on issues affecting them, with the theme, Education for Renewed Hope, repositioning secondary education for economic employment and national development. Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Saeed Ahmed, charged the principals to uphold high ethical standards, as the ministry will do everything to sustain the standard of unity schools nationwide.
The ministry is committed to investing in education to empower young Nigerians and promote economic growth. Our focus on these key areas is to revitalize Nigeria's education system, promote a brighter future
the National Assembly will continue to play the important role of budgeting and oversight to ensure that funds are made available to our colleges, and that we also monitor to ensure that you are doing well in your respective functions.
The meeting will, among other things, enhance the professional efficiency of participants through sharing of ideas and comparing notes.
Whenever we meet around, they are given series of induction courses, lectures, training on how best to move their schools towards achieving the desired goals and objectives.
We expect everybody to carry all that is discussed in his own best interest and go and now transit it in their own schools.
Top performing federal unity colleges in 2024 NECO, SSCE, and NAPTEC examinations were awarded and recognized. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Ladidi in Maiduguri after this break.
Welcome to Maiduguri. Join us. In a renewed effort to enhance security training standards across the country, a subcommittee of 7 governors constituted by the National Executive Council, as instructed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has embarked on an inspection tour of Police College Maiduguri. The visit aims to reposition the institution to ensure more conducive and standard training environment for officers of the Nigerian Police Force. Angarjo Anagawa reports.
The subcommittee, led by the governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, visited the police college in Maiduguri to inspect existing facilities and conduct a needs assessment to identify areas in need of improvement and reposition the college to effectively deliver on its training mandate. Accompanied by the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Department of Training and Development, Frank Mba, and other members of the committee, which include governors of Taraba, Zamfara, Kaduna, Akwa Ibom, Ogun, and Enugu State, who were warmly received by Governor Babagana Amarazulum. Governor Sule noted that the president has directed the subcommittee to visit various security institutions, particularly those of the Nigerian Police Force and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, in line with the federal government's strategic plan to recruit more officers annually, emphasizing that the assessment tour is to ensure that training facilities are conducive and acknowledge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment to enhancing the quality of security training institutions across the country.
There is going to be a technical committee of experts in building and infrastructure who are going to go to every one of these institutions around the country.
Commandant Police College Maiduguri Assistant Inspector General of Police Muazu Usman Mohammed, who conducted them round the facilities, described the inspection as timely.
This material time, our recruits are still using pit latrine. Women recruits. That's very unfortunate.
The inspection tour is expected to guide the committee's recommendations to the federal government on measures required to restore the college to a world-class training standard. In Maiduguri, Angarju Anagawa, NTA News.
Officials of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, have been assured of operating in a safe and secure environment, particularly during the end-of-year period, commonly referred to as the Ember Months. This assurance was given by the sector commander of the FRSC, Borno State Command, during the 2025 Special Marshal Sectorial Workshop held at the El Kanemi Hall of Ramat Polytechnic, Maiduguri. Fatima Isa reports.
This year's workshop themed Enhancing Security and Safety Strategies for Special Marshals Operations, focus on strengthening collaboration among stakeholders and improving road safety measures across the state, especially during periods of increased vehicular movements. Borno State Governor, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Administration and General Services, Garba Chibok, commended the Special Marshals for their commitment to reducing traffic congestion within Maiduguri and other parts of the state. The sector commander of the FRSC, Usman Adab Muhammad, emphasized that the workshop addressed security challenges faced by Special Marshals while discharging their duties, stressing the importance of community engagement and building public trust to ensure effective enforcement of traffic regulations.
A Special Marshal uses certain strategies,
of which the government of the state, the Corps Marshal, have all put their heads together. They've assisted in making a way for us to work freely.
Special marshals are men and women of proven integrity that cut across different sectors of human endeavor in the state. They have choose to contribute their quota voluntarily.
Stakeholders, including representatives of BOTMA, NATO, RTAN, and NURTW, commended the FRSC for its synergy with transport unions, calling for urgent measures to tackle reckless truck driving, underage tricycle operation, overloading, and the use of aged drivers who pose risks to other road users. The transport union reaffirms their commitment to supporting the FRSC in promoting safe road use and curbing the misuse of tricycles and other commercial vehicles. In Maiduguri, Fatima Isa, NTA News.
Those are the trending stories from here. Nationwide continues with Dennis in Abuja.
Many thanks, Ladidi. Now, more than $2 million in investments are being recorded 2 days into the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit holding in Abuja. Deborah Balagbobo reports that this year's summit tells a story of hope, innovation, and economic prosperity.
The Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit, 8th edition, dives into the theme, fast-tracking regional and national development by mobilizing diaspora investment in the health sector, education, telecommunication, infrastructure, and housing sector.
In terms of giving back, we've developed a whole lot of products to service the diaspora population.
They're investing in Canada, they're investing in a stable economy and stable markets.
It's getting the diasporans to know that there is hope in Nigeria, that we're here to make a difference.
The Vice President reaffirms federal government's resolve to move the nation forward, noting that Nigeria needs ideas, networks, resources, and experience, which are vital to its growth and development.
Our prosperity will come faster when the public sector, private sector, and our global diaspora work together in unity of purpose.
We are the government, we are the administration. It's not just relying on the president. It's about us mobilizing and doing our own part, which is what the Nigerians in diaspora are doing.
So we need to call ourselves to action. To our distinguished diaspora investors, entrepreneurs, and professionals, Nigeria needs you. Nigeria needs your ideas. Your networks, your resources, and your experience are vital.
So all those who are saying that Nigeria is not good, you want to japa, people outside are seeing the good that is happening in your country and are coming in. What else or where else will you go?
The goal of the summit is to look beyond remittance, but to channel capital, expertise, and goodwill into sustainable structured investment that can transform lives, create jobs, and drive economic growth. In Abuja, Deborah Balagbobo, NTA News.
Some agriculture now. The National Cereals Research Institute, Badigi, has officially handed over 15 metric tons of zinc biofortified rice to its partners. Musa Mikhail reports from the Institute's headquarters in Niger State.
The handing over of the 15 metric tons of zinc biofortified rice variety by the National Cereals Research Institute marks another milestone in the Institute's effort to promote agricultural innovation through development and dissemination of improved rice varieties. According to the Institute, the zinc biofortified rice variety is part of ongoing research aimed at addressing micronutrient deficiencies and boosting food fortification for national development. Executive Director of the Institute, Muhammad Ishaq, commended the federal government's renewed support in advancing agricultural research for better nutrition and sustainable food production. Key stakeholders in the agricultural sector, including representatives of Harvest Plus and National Seed Council, commended the achievement while also calling for more support.
Variety of rice is rich, that is zinc fortified, meaning that it is a nutritional supplement.
So we try as much as possible to increase the micronutrients and vitamins levels in some of our staple crops.
The handing over of the zinc biofortified rice to Harvest Plus is expected to further enhance access to nutritious rice varieties across the country and contribute to the government's drive for food security and improved public health. Musa Mikail, NTA News.
The National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control in Adamawa State is raising concern on the dangers of substandard and falsified regulated products. This is coming as NAFDAC is also intensifying the fight against such unwholesome practices. Bilkisu Abubakar reports.
Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, in Adamawa State says it will continue to strengthen relationship with stakeholders to regulate the circulation of fake, substandard, and unwholesome products. The agency has been actively monitoring the production, distribution, storage, and use of regulated products to ensure their safety and efficacy. Recent operations by NAFDAC in Adamawa led to the removal of several hazardous products from the market, including Asian antibiotic oxytocin injection, Paludex, an anti-malaria drug for children with 0% active pharmaceutical ingredients. The agency also seized unbranded monosodium glutamate and banned registered agrochemicals that harm the environment, among others.
In this state, we have run into one original chest and lungs tablets. And as NAFDAC officers, we know that NAFDAC will never tell you that the name of a drug is original. We cannot give that kind of name to any product. So we suspect it. We now use an app to check the NAFDAC number on it. And we discovered that that NAFDAC number belongs to Daflocan.
NAFDAC are doing a very excellent job. And to the point that this sensitization program today is improving a lot of us.
The public has been warned about the dangers of using calcium carbides on foods, and NAFDAC has vowed to take action against those responsible. In Yola, Bilkisu Abubakar, NTA News.
Well, let's get more information on this as we join Bilkisu in Yola. Hello, Bilkisu. How is it going? Any headway in this fight by NAFDAC against fake drugs?
Yes, Dennis, it's good to hear from you. Considering the public health is something that is of great importance to the general public, which people raise concern as regards to the circulation of some of the drugs in Adamawa State, compels the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, to intensify efforts to fight such drugs, as you have seen in that report. For instance, some of the drugs that were confiscated by the NAFDAC in Adamawa State has serious adverse effects on the life of people, also on the animals, and the environment. The drugs like the Paludex, which is an anti-malaria drug for children. As you have seen in that report, the drug has a NAFDAC number and the expiring date, among other things that are needed for the production of the drugs. But this drug, according to the NAFDAC officials, has zero active pharmaceutical ingredient. But to talk about it is the coordinator of the NAFDAC in Adamawa State Pharmacies, Gonzuk Bedima Nyor. Sir, what efforts are you going to put in place so as to tackle the circulation of such drugs as you have presented in that report?
Well, definitely we don't have an option than to put serious surveillance and then to do serious routine checks. In Adamawa State, we don't have a manufacturer of drugs, but we have retail shops, wholesale shops for drugs and pharmaceuticals and even other regulated products that we do go around to find out. So we are putting serious effort to make sure. And of course, as I said before, some of these informations come from the headquarters. Maybe somebody have discovered it, and once we have the notification, we swing into action. And then we also intensify talking to people, especially to mass media like this. Sometimes we go to markets, shops, we call patent medicine dealers together, people who are involved in this together, so that we can tell them what to watch out for, especially.
We hope to see that NAFDAC is intensifying efforts to curtail the circulation of such drugs in Adamawa State. Back to you in our studios in Abuja. Dennis?
Thank you, Bilkisu. All right, let's join another Bilkisu, Bilkisu Nuhu in our Jos Network Center to give us the next set of reports. Over to you.
Welcome to Jos. Plateau State government has emphasized the need for greater synergy between science, policy and society in the use of artificial intelligence for national development. This was during the celebration of this year's World Science Day in Jos. Ijoma Ozomina reports.
Artificial intelligence, AI's ability to solve complex problems and create personalized experiences highlights its transformative potential to the society. In view of this, stakeholders at the World Science Day underscores the role scientists play in broadening understanding of the globe and creating a sustainable society for all to live. Plateau State Governor, represented, says the 2025 World Science Day will provide a vital platform between science and society, which is essential to meet future challenges.
Excellence is really passionate to see how we can use innovations to not just only change the narrative on the plateau, but to also tell our own stories using technology and innovations.
We will continue to emphasize the need for increased investment in science education, most especially for the girl child.
Vice Chancellor, University of Jos, represented by the Director, ICT, harped on the theme Trust, Transformation and Tomorrow, the science we need for the future, noting that the rationale in celebrating the day draws attention to the challenges faced in raising support for scientific endeavor.
Science is the most powerful force we have to share a future of peace, prosperity, and dignity for all.
In celebrating the day, they need to engage wider public in debates, organize symposia, quiz competition for students and science exhibition is imperative for the connection between science and society. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemina, NTA News.
21 inmates who were unable to pay their fines have regained their freedom from the Jos Custodial Center and other centers in the state, following a humanitarian intervention by participants of Senior Executive Course 47-2025 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS Kuru. Indiang and Abuja has details.
The gesture formed part of the corporate social responsibility of the course participants, and giving indigent inmates a fresh start in life. Some of the released inmates thanked NIPS for helping them regain their freedom and reunite with their families.
Many of us discovered God here, and many of us that did evil thing now discover that doing evil does not pay.
The Monitor General, Sec 47, Colonel Mukhtar Daroda, explains that the release of the inmates aligns with the Institute's motto towards a better society and the drive to promote justice and inclusive development.
We are happy to say that today the Controller General of Corrections has also approved and seen reason why we need to do this. Also very important for me to say is the fact that the inmates we are facilitating their release today are those with very crimes that are considered as very minor.
Controller, Nigerian Correctional Service, Plateau State Command, Ezekiel Kaga, applauded NIPS for the intervention, noting that such partnerships are vital to easing congestion and improving conditions across custodial centers.
This act that the NIPS participants have done is one of the things that will give us much relief.
In Jos, Indenyan and Abuja, NTA News.
That is all from Jos. Nationwide continues with Dennis in Abuja after this break.
Thanks for rejoining us here in Abuja. The Ikogosi Marathon Road Race was conceived many years ago to blend athletics with culture, tourism and a beautiful ambience, which Ekiti State has to offer. Olukemi Sani captured the whole essence of this marathon race in the state.
Ikogosi Ekiti, the home of the warm and cold water spring resort, saw athletes converging as early as 6 in the morning with the arrival of the Alawi of Ilawe Ekiti, Oba Ajibade Alabi, and the Speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly, Adeoye Aribasoye. To ensure safety, security personnel lined the routes, as well as medical personnel to provide support to them who had 4 stops along the way for relief. The climax of the race saw Plateau State-born Ilia Giang emerging first with 57 minutes 35 seconds, while the second position went to Francis James. The third position went to Sauja Ismail, while the indigenous winners category saw Tunde Shegun emerging first with Sunday Ijoko taking second position. Top finishers were awarded medals and cash prizes. An indigenous company also added another 50,000 naira.
I was not expecting that first position, but I know I trained for it. But at the way, I come to check the road and I see hills and I said, let's go, we can do it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this race. I've been seeing the post about this race. I said, God, let me plan my race, let me try my best.
I won the last edition. This time around, I don't know, because they increased the distance.
My prayer is that I want to go higher.
For us, it goes a little bit beyond sport. It's a lot of commandeering. It's a lot of community spirit. There's a lot of young people coming out to celebrate their city.
Olukemi Sani, NTA News.
Let's get more updates from the sporting world.
Anticipation is building as the Super Eagles gear up to compete in Rabat for the African World Cup playoff semi-final against Gabon. Football enthusiasts in Abuja believe a victory could secure a place in the final, with Nigeria looking to take a significant step towards qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The team aims to deliver a strong performance to keep their World Cup aspirations alive.
It's 2 games this week. If we can get past the games, there's an intercontinental qualifiers in March. Hopefully we have our boys there. I've been at the last 3 to 4 World Cups. It was a shame we weren't at the last one.
It's a vital match that means so much to the entire nation. All right, we are so optimistic in order to say a superb, change, so that we can be able to qualify for the World Cup.
Elsewhere, the women's 100 meters final will headline the first day of competition at the Los Angeles 2028 Olympics, says World Athletics President Lloyd Coy. The opening ceremony of the Games will be on 14 July and the closing ceremony on 30 July, with athletics which will run for the entire Games, starting in the first week and swimming in the second in a historic swap. And lastly, in tennis, Yannick Sinner showcased a composed and dominating performance to advance to the knockout stages of the ATP Finals in Turin, winning against Alexander Zverev 6-4, 6-3. The Italian second seed kept his hopes of clinching the year-end world #1 ranking alive by successfully saving all 7 break points he encountered, with his powerful serves frustrating Zverev. The 24-year-old, a 4-time major champion, became the first player to secure a semi-final spot, thrilling the home crowd with his performance. For Sports Update, Bright Ebuchu, NTA News.
That concludes Nationwide. Thank you for watching. I am Dennis Adegunloye.